Hello, everyone. Welcome to Easy English Speaking. Now let's listen to our podcast.
Hey, have you ever wondered what native speakers really talk about at work? I mean, do they use big words like synergy and pivot? Or are they just talking about their coffee addiction? Well, today we're diving into how native speakers actually talk at work. And trust me, it's way more relaxed than you think.
Exactly. So, before we get started, do us a quick favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with your friends. We're all about making English fun and easy, and you're not going to want to miss what we've got today. All right, let's get into it.
All right, let's be real. Work conversations can feel pretty intimidating, right? But what if I told you that you can start sounding more like a native speaker with just a few simple phrases? It's not all about fancy corporate jargon. It's about being yourself and speaking naturally.
Yep, and it all starts with those little daily interactions. We're greeting a colleague, asking about their weekend, or just chatting about the weather. Native speakers keep it light and easy. Let's break it down and show you how.
So imagine it's Monday morning. You're walking into work and you see a colleague. Instead of the stiff, "Good morning, sir," try something like, "Hey, how's your day going?" It's friendly, casual, and makes you sound approachable.
Exactly. No need to sound like a robot. And here's a secret. Native speakers don't always say, "How's your day?" with a big formal tone. You might hear, "How's it going?" or "How's your day been?" It's casual, but it still gets the job done.
And speaking of sounding natural, native speakers love to keep things light with small talk. If someone asks, "How's it going?" you don't need to give a huge, detailed answer. A simple, "Good, thanks," or "Not bad at all," is perfect.
Yep, small talk doesn't have to be complicated. If someone says, "How's your weekend?" you can reply with, "It was relaxing," or "It was busy, but fun." Keep it short and sweet. That's how native speakers keep things rolling.
Now, here's a little pro tip. When someone says, "I'm tired," don't just say, "Oh, okay." Instead, share a little empathy. "Yeah, I know what you mean. It's been one of those weeks." It shows you're engaged and makes the conversation feel more friendly and real.
Right. It's about connection, not perfection. The more relaxed the conversation going. Just like when we're talking here, it's all about being yourself and having fun while learning.
So, before we dive deeper into the techniques that will help you sound more natural, let's talk about one simple practice you can start today. Shadowing.
Shadowing is a technique where you listen to a sentence, then repeat it right away, like you're following along with a shadow. It helps you practice the rhythm, tone, and pronunciation of native speakers.
And trust me, it works. Let's try it with a simple sentence. "Can you send me that email?" Try repeating after me, nice and slow. Ready?
Here we go. Can you send me that email? Can you send me that email? Now you try it. Job.
See? It's all about getting into the rhythm and making the words feel natural. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll get.
And that's the key. Take it slow, practice regularly, and have fun with it. Native speakers don't stress over being perfect. They just speak naturally and confidently.
All right, we're just getting started, so stay with us. And again, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need a little extra English practice. We're all in this together.
We'll be back with more tips in the next part, but for now, keep practicing. You've got this.
All right, let's dive into the real magic behind sounding like a native speaker at work. If you're like me, you've probably heard native speakers use phrases that sound easy, but you're not quite sure what they mean. Things like, "Let's circle back," or "Can you touch base with me later?" You might be thinking, what in the world does that even mean?
Right? Those are what we call business idioms, phrases that seem weird at first, but they're actually really common in everyday work conversations. But don't worry, we'll break them down for you, step by step.
Let's start with something you'll definitely hear in meetings. Let's circle back. It sounds fancy, but it simply means, let's talk about this again later. So, if a conversation is getting off track, someone might say, "Okay, let's circle back to this after the break." It's just a way of putting a pause on something, with the promise to revisit it later.
Exactly. And then there's touch base. It's another way of saying, let's check in with each other. You might hear, "Let's touch base tomorrow," or "I'll touch base with you on this." It's casual and quick, but it keeps the communication flowing.
See? Easy, right? These idioms can sound confusing at first, but once you hear them in context a few times, they'll start to feel more natural. The key is to listen carefully and start using them when the situation calls for it.
Speaking of situations, let's talk about how you can make small talk at work without sounding awkward. You know, those "how's it going" moments? Well, you can add a little variety to those phrases. Instead of always saying, "How's your day?" try something like, "What's on your plate today?"
Yeah, and when someone says, "I'm swamped," that doesn't mean they're drowning. It just means they're really busy. You can respond by saying, "I hear you. It's been one of those weeks, huh?" You don't need to be formal. Just keep it casual and empathize.
Another great one is, "Let's catch up." It's a casual way of saying, "Let's talk soon." Maybe after a meeting, someone might say, "Let's catch up about this later." It's simple, but it keeps the conversation moving without too much pressure.
All right, let's pause for a second and do a little practice. Repeat after me. Let's circle back to this. Now you try it. Perfect. You can use that phrase in meetings or even with coworkers to set up follow-up conversations.
And how about touch base? Let's practice that one too. I'll touch base with you later. You give it a go. Nice job.
See? These small phrases are perfect for making you sound like a native speaker at work. But the most important part is the tone. Native speakers don't rush. They speak at a comfortable pace, and they use a friendly, inviting tone. That's how you can build stronger connections with your coworkers.
Exactly. You don't need to worry about using complex words or big business phrases. Focus on speaking naturally, and the words will come. Mix in a little humor. You'll hear native speakers joking around all the time. It's a great way to build rapport and ease the tension in the workplace.
All right, one last tip before we wrap up this part. If you want to sound even more like a native speaker, try using contractions. Instead of saying, "I will send the email," just say, "I'll send the email." Native speakers love to shorten words to make their speech faster and more relaxed.
Yeah, and don't forget to smile while you talk. It sounds silly, but it makes a huge difference in how your words come across. When you smile, your voice sounds warmer, and people will connect with you more easily.
Totally. So remember, when you're talking at work, it's all about staying relaxed and sounding natural. Use simple phrases, add in a little humor, and don't worry about being perfect. Practicing, and you'll get better every day. Have you ever this offline? It might sound strange, right? But in the world of work conversations, it's a phrase you'll hear quite often. And today, we're going to explain that and a few more phrases you'll need to know.
Exactly. And just like the phrases we've already covered, this one's all about simplifying communication. When someone says, "Let's take this offline," they don't mean leave the building or literally stop the meeting. It just means, "Let's talk about this later, privately, or away from the group." It's like hitting pause on a conversation until a better time.
And you'll hear this in meetings or team discussions. If the topic gets too detailed or off track, someone might say, "Let's take this offline." It's a way to keep the conversation focused and avoid wasting time.
And while we're talking about simplifying things, another common phrase you'll hear at work is, "I'll loop you in." This just means, I'll keep you updated or involved. For example, "I'll loop you in on the latest details" means, I'll make sure you're aware of what's going on. It's a way of letting someone know they're part of the conversation, even if they're not currently involved.
Exactly. These are great phrases to have in your vocabulary, but don't stress about using them perfectly. Native speakers don't always use them in every conversation, but they come in handy when you want to sound more confident and familiar with the work culture.
That's right. Another great one is, "Can we table this?" This one simply means, "Can we put this discussion on hold for now?" It's used when a topic isn't urgent enough to talk about right away, but the conversation can be continued at a later time.
So, now that you've got a few phrases under your belt, let's practice. Repeat after me. Let's take this offline. Let's take this offline. Perfect. Now try, "I'll loop you in." I'll loop you in. You're doing great.
See? It's not as complicated as it sounds. The key is understanding the context. When you hear these phrases in real conversations, you'll know exactly how to respond.
And it's not just about the phrases. It's about the tone, too. Native speakers speak with a friendly, approachable tone, even in business settings. Keep it light and positive, and you'll be just fine.
Absolutely. So, when you're in your next work conversation, try using these phrases and see how natural it feels.
All right, we've made it to the final part of our work conversation series. By now, you've learned some great phrases, and you're well on your way to speaking like a native at work. But there's one more powerful tool we can use to really step up our game: active listening.
Active listening is a huge part of communication, and it can make a world of difference in how you connect with people at work. It's not just about hearing what someone says, it's about truly understanding them and responding in a way that shows you're engaged.
That's right. When you listen actively, you're not just waiting for your turn to talk. You're absorbing what the other person is saying and responding with empathy. For example, if a colleague says, "I've been working on this project for days," instead of just saying, "That's great," you can respond with, "Wow, that sounds like a lot of work. How are you feeling about it?"
Exactly, Maria. Active listening also means showing interest with body language or simple phrases like, "I see," "That makes sense," or "Tell me more." This lets the other person know that you're paying attention and care about what they're saying.
And this is something native speakers do all the time, even if they don't realize it. They use active listening to keep conversations flowing smoothly. It helps them build better relationships and shows respect for the other person's thoughts.
So, let's practice a little. Imagine a colleague says, "I'm feeling a bit stressed about this deadline." Instead of just saying, "Okay," try saying something like, "I can imagine how that must feel. What can I do to help?" You're showing empathy and you're letting them know you care.
Exactly. Active listening is all about making the other person feel heard and understood. And this is what builds strong relationships in the workplace. It's not just the words you say, but how you make others feel when you speak.
All right, we've covered a lot in this series. To remember, don't worry about sounding perfect. Native speakers don't always use formal language or big words. They focus on keeping things simple, clear, and natural. And the more you practice these phrases and techniques, the more confident you'll feel.
You've got this. Keep practicing, keep listening, and most importantly, keep speaking. The more you speak, the more natural it will become.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope these tips help you feel more confident in your work conversations. Keep up the great work, and we'll see you soon with more tips to make English easier and more fun.